Hello, and welcome to episode 16 of Made with Carlenergy, my podcast about knitting and spinning and hoarding yarn. I'm Carlene, and I'm on Ravelry and Instagram as Carlenergy, and there's also a Ravelry group, which you can find by searching Made with Carlenergy podcast in the Groups tab. It is Sunday, January 24th, 2016. So I have been on another podcasting hiatus. I think my last episode was on the 3rd of January. So it's been a few weeks, and I've been working on a lot of projects, and Vogue Knitting Live happened, so I'll be talking about that. And yeah, I think it's going to be a bit of a longer episode because I have lots of things to show you. So I hope you have a nice project to work on and a good beverage, and thank you so much for joining me to see what I've been up to. If you are snowed in, I hope you are warm and safe, and you have bread and milk and plenty of yarn to hold you over. We were supposed to get snow here in Dover Plains, New York. I was expecting maybe a couple inches. I didn't think we would get it too bad because it was supposed to be more of a southern coastal storm. So I've seen on Instagram that the city got hit pretty hard, and my parents in New Jersey have about, I think, 2 feet, close to 2 feet of snow. So if you are in a very snowy area, I hope you're doing okay. And yeah, I had bought ingredients to make stew, so I made stew yesterday, and I was ready to hunker down inside, but then it ended up not being bad. So yesterday. Actually, so this weekend I was really planning on finishing the sweater for my friend that I've been working on, but my friend Leanne came over from, she lives in about an hour and a half away in Connecticut, and she came over to go to the local bar in Wassaic. Leanne and I were both interns at the Wassaic Project, which is an arts organization in Wassaic, New York, which I've talked a little bit about on the podcast in some previous episodes. And so we were interns there, and we're actually both from New Jersey as well, and we have lots of mutual friends. And so she came up and ended up staying at my place Friday night. And then yesterday was the mill warming party in Wassaic. So there is this old grain elevator, so an old grain mill in Wassaic, and it's this huge 7-story building that used to operate as a grain mill from the 50s until the 80s, and then it was falling apart. It was in disrepair, and they were going to tear it down, but then an architect purchased it and restored it, and then it was turned into an arts venue. So they have an exhibition every summer, and it's a really, really neat space to see artwork in. And there's an artist residency program in Wassaic, which is really awesome. So there's always about 12 residents per month living and working in the studios in Wassaic, and so it's a really, really neat place. And so this is the first time that they've actually added insulation to the first floor of the mill so that it's more winterized. And so they had a mill warming party for the first time, and the current residents had some artwork up on the first floor, and there were kids activities and some snacks and hot cider. And so we went to that, and there are 2 writing residents currently, so there was a poetry and story reading, and so it was really nice, and I got to spend a lot of time with my friend Leanne. And then she stayed last night as well, and because actually she has more snow where she lives than we got here, since we didn't get any snow. So so she stayed so she would be safe and didn't have to drive over into the snow. And so yeah, I did not finish my friend's sweater, but I have knit the collar on it. So I'll show that first, since now my rambling has transitioned over into this project. So I started this. This is the Hugo pattern, which was in the first Brooklyn Tweed men's collection, and this is by Veronique Avery, and I've knitted in Brooklyn Tweed Shelter in the Artifact colorway. And so I've had all the pieces finished since last year, and I hadn't picked up for the collar yet, and it's still unseamed because I didn't get to it yet this weekend. But I did knit the collar on this past Tuesday. I actually played hooky from work, and yeah, I wasn't feeling that good, and I didn't sleep well at all. So when I woke up that morning, there was just really, I just couldn't get myself to go to work. So so I slept in a little bit and got up and was feeling a little better and worked on this sweater. So I picked up for the collar, and it's an asymmetrical collar with this. So the pattern calls for 3 snaps, so it actually calls for not doing buttonholes. It calls for sewing snaps on. But my friend, who this is for, wanted some toggle buttons, so I just on the one side of the collar, I did I just spaced out buttonholes where because the collar was supposed to be about 4¼ inches, I think, so I just figured out how to space the buttonholes evenly, and they are the 1-row buttonhole, which is explained in a lot of Brooklyn Tweed patterns. I actually looked at the Bellows pattern by Michelle Wong to remind myself how to do the 1-row buttonhole. And I did a 2-stitch buttonhole since these toggles are pretty thin and they fit in there nicely. So yeah, I'm really pleased with how this is looking. I was intimidated for some reason to start the collar because I really wanted to make sure it was nice and neat, and I always really need a lot of concentration. I need to be in the right mental space to pick up stitches, but it came out pretty nice, if I may say so, and it's nice because then it can be a nice warm collar or it can be folded over. So yeah, really pleased with that so far. And yeah, now I just need to sew the sleeves on. They are finished but still detached. So yeah, I did think that I was going to be snowed in and seaming a sweater this weekend, but then I ended up having a really nice time with a bunch of friends instead, so no complaints there. But do have to finish this beast because, yeah, it's been almost finished since last year. And I know it's cold and my friend needs his sweater. So I might get to this after I record, but we'll see. Another something that I finished was this pair of socks that was left over from Christmas. This is the pair that my grandpa did not want since he wears special socks for diabetics. So he didn't think that these were suitable for him. But yeah, so I had one finished on Christmas, and then I think about 1/3 of the way through the foot, and then I put it down for a few weeks after Christmas, and yeah, picked it up again and got that finished within a few hours. So those are finished, and this is Barocco Comfort Sock, which is a 50% acrylic, 50% nylon blend, so it's really, really soft and comfortable. I do like this yarn, even though it's not really anywhere close to a natural fiber. It is good for gift socks since they're easy to care for and very comfy. So I've been working on some other socks, and I have 2 half pairs finished. I finished this one. Oh, I have to weave in an end apparently. So I finished this one, which I had started at the end of November, thinking that this was going to be the pair of socks that I gave my aunt for Christmas, and then I decided I wasn't really too sure about the yarn. So this is Lana Grossa, I think it's called Malibu Stretch sock yarn, and it is a wool and cotton and synthetic blend. And it was feeling a little rough while I was knitting with it, since it does have the cotton content. It doesn't have as much stretch, and it felt a little more like string than yarn. Is like kind of the only way I can think of to describe it. But it did kind of seem to soften up as I was knitting it. So it had bothered my hands a little bit at first, but then I got used to it, and I do really like how it came out. So I decided that these will be for me because I'm interested to see how comfortable they are and how they wear with the cotton blend. So this is the blueberry waffles pattern. And yeah, I'm really happy with they came out, or how they came out. And the bonus is that they really matched my Tannenbaum bag. So, and this is from Nomadic Yarns on Etsy. She has great project bags and self-striping sock yarn as well. And then so here I am on the second sock. I didn't make these ones match. I decided I kind of wanted them to not match. I don't know why. So this is on a size US 1, 2.25 Chow-Gu needle, my favorite needles, with magic loop. And yeah, so I've been working on that one, and then I finished this sock. So I started this one before Rhinebeck, and then it got put away for a while since I was working on Christmas socks. This is a plain vanilla sock, and this is with a twisted rib cuff. I usually do 2x2 ribbing, but I decided to change it up with a twisted rib and a slip stitch heel. So this is Lorna's Lace's shepherd sock in the Envy colorway. So it's kind of I would say it's ugly in a good way, as Shane from Nitro version would say. I'm not using the word ugly as an insult. It's I don't know. It's a funky color combination, but I really like how it has the kind of variegated stripes. I really like how it knit up. Yeah, and it didn't pool at all. So, and I don't mind pooling with this kind of yarn, but yeah, it came out as nice even stripes. So this was on a US 1 again with magic loop, and yeah, I had started these before Rhinebeck, and then put them away for a while, and then picked this up as my project to take to Vogue Knitting Live. And so yeah, I got a lot done while I was at Vogue Knitting, and I think I did, yeah, I started this one on double points, so I think it's less obvious now, but yeah, you can kind of, I was up to here with the double points, and then I switched to magic loop, so you can see that there is a bit of a gauge difference. It kind of has a little bit of a, like, it bubbles out a little bit at the top. So that was interesting. I wasn't sure if my gauge was different from double points to magic loop or not. But, so yes, and then I'm actually halfway through the foot on the second sock. So, yeah. So yeah, I've been kind of working on these side by side, and that's going well. I'm glad to be getting back into sock knitting. After all the Christmas socks, I had to take a break from it, which I should have expected. But yeah, I do really like, especially with magic loop. I mean, I've always knit socks on double points up until a few months ago, and magic loop has just made me really, really enjoy knitting socks. I've always enjoyed knitting socks, but I don't know, something about it is just, I like the speed of it, and yeah, I feel like with knitting socks on double points, I was much more likely to put the project down more often. You know, I would knit for a while and then want to work on something else. But with the magic loop, I don't really get sick of working on a sock. I just want to keep going. So yes, I really, really like magic loop. So the other, ooh, my power just kind of, my lights just dimmed a little bit. I wonder why that happened. I don't know why the power would go out. Hopefully that doesn't happen again. So yeah, I was working on this this shawl for my mom. This is the Nurmalintu pattern by Heidi Allender, and I had started this at the beginning of January. My mom's birthday is January 8th, and so for some reason thought I could maybe finish this before the 8th and send it over to her for her birthday, but that has not happened. This is in Woolen Vine yarns in her blitzed base in the Deck the Halls colorway, so that's the variegated, so it's one of her holiday colorways. And then for the lace sections, I'm using this cream colored wool from You and Me Merinos, which is a farm in Ashland, New York, and I got that yarn at Rhinebeck. I bought it to maybe possibly dye with, but I wanted to do the lace sections of this shawl with the plain cream color, so, and I didn't want to have to buy another skein, so I'm using that, and I think I will have a lot left over to do some dyeing experiments with. But anyway, so I was working on this a few weeks ago, and the beginning of January, and I've kind of put it down over the past week and a half. I haven't really been working on it. I think it's coming out really beautiful. At first, I was a little worried that the cream yarn was because the white in the Woolen Vine yarns is more of a pure white, and this is a little more cream. So I wasn't quite sure if it was going to work, but I actually really like the contrast. I think it looks really nice now that there's the multiple lace sections, and yeah, it gives it a nice vintage feel. So I do think this is really beautiful. But now that Christmas has passed and my mom's birthday is over, I think I'm going to maybe put this project away to finish later, and it will be a Christmas present for next year. I also have another skein of the Deck the Halls colorway in the DK base from Woolen Vine, and I want to make a pair of gloves for my mom with that yarn and have this be kind of a set. So I think that will be a Christmas present for next year. And I might finish this since I mean it's getting there. I might finish it off and then just put it away for a gift. But yeah, it is more of a Christmas themed project, and since I won't be giving it to her now until next year, I think I'm going to put it away for a little bit. But yeah, it's in my homespun house bag with the vintage Christmas fabric, which I really love. But yeah, now that Christmas is over and the holidays are done, it kind of feels a little unseasonal at this point. So I still really like it, and it's a beautiful project, but it'll wait for now since there's so many other things to work on. But yeah, I guess that's all the knitting. I mean, I've also added many new squares to my sock yarn blanket, and that was kind of what I was working on a lot at the beginning of this month. Like, it was really the only thing I wanted to work on for about a week. So I don't know if I'm going to go over this too much, but I did add several more squares. I feel like like most of this top row has been knit over the past month. So yeah, I'm kind of trying to do it very systematically now, where I do go across the row in order, so that like not any one section grows bigger. So yeah, and then I really like when I pick the color to do the next square, I do look at it and see like what color I want to do next, depending on the squares that are going to be surrounding it. So it is still really random, but I do like some of like the sections that are happening, like yeah, this section here with these kind of muted colors I really like. And then over here I did kind of a lot of the lime green. So yeah, and these are more like darker colors. I'm kind of trying to coordinate it a little bit, and it's really fun because I like being able to put a color next to another color that I would never really think of for another project. But it's a nice way to experiment with color and see how they're going to look together. So yes, I'm really loving having this project back in the rotation. And yeah, for about a week, I think I added a square a day. or more. So I was adding at least a square a day for a week or so. I haven't put any squares in it over the past week, I don't think. Maybe this one, yeah, because I had finished that one sock. But yeah, it's definitely back in rotation in a very big way, and I'm really happy about that. I think it's going to grow really nicely from here. And but yeah, I'm kind of feeling like I need to take a little break on it because I don't want to run out of mini skeins. I still have plenty of scraps to put into it, but I'm kind of running out of enough colors to make it so that there's not too many of the same yarn too close together. So yeah, I'm gonna have to knit more socks to have more minis or do more swaps. So that is living in my Lantern Moon bag. So I really like this bag for this project. And then I have my balls of minis in this bag, and then ones that are still in the skein I have another bag for. So yeah, I love this project. So yeah, that's been worked on a lot, and I need some tea. And I have been spinning. I have been working on one of my very long-term drop spindle projects. So I've been spinning this loop bump. This colorway was called First of Fall, I think, and it was greens and teal and some tan and brown. And I haven't shown this in a while, so I think I'll show you just to refresh your memory on the project. So this is the Fringe with Benefits shawl by Mindy Ross. It's a paid for pattern on Ravelry, and it has beads, and I'm doing it in hand spun from 2 different loop bumps. So I haven't shown this in a few episodes, and I haven't actually knit on it anymore, but yeah, so this was the starting point, this green, and then so this was all one loop bump that was called something sorry because it has sari silk in it, so it's called So Sorry, I think, or something like that. And so yeah, these bits of pink and then the other colors that are speckled in here are sari silk, and then it has bamboo and merino as well, and I think nylon too. It's just a mix of wonderful softness. It's so soft. So then that loop bump lasted me all the way up until this point where it transitions into this darker green. You can see some of the beads in there. And so I had another loop bump that had similar colors, so I started spinning that, and this is where I'm at. And this is a really beaded section. So, and then, yeah, I think this is a progress keeper from the last time that I showed you this. That's where I was, and then, so I've knit that much more, but I haven't knit on it in several weeks. And I have a small ball of yarn left from one little mini skein because I spent about 1.5 ounces of fiber onto the spindle before I wind it off. That seems to be a good sweet spot for getting the right, still being consistent with my my thickness of the yarn and everything. So, and I think this yarn, I haven't done any proper measuring of it, and I do have a wraps per inch gauge, but I haven't really tested this yarn with it. I think it is kind of a heavy fingering to a DK weight. And I'm knitting this on a size US 7, so I think that's a 4.5 millimeter. So, oh, it's so snuggly. It's a shame that I haven't finished this because I'd really like to wear it during this winter. But anyway, all of this to say that I did wind off another mini skein, so this was about 1.5 ounces. And so some darker colors, some nice forest green, and so this loop bump did not have the sari silk in it, but I did spin in some, like I have like, you know, random bits of other braids of fiber and stuff that, you know, these are just like the mess ups. So I've been kind of saving them so that I can add them into this loop bump to get that speckled effect like the Sari Silk bump had. So here is what I have on the spindle again. And I really like how this is working up with that kind of neutral color with the other colors mixed in. And this is all I have left. Oh yeah, there's also stellina in both of these loop bumps, so sparkle. So yeah, this is less than an ounce. I think this is about 0.6 ounces, so I am getting very close to at least finishing the yarn, and I'm really hoping that this gets me through the rest of the pattern. I'm not quite sure how much I have left to go. I haven't looked at the pattern in a while, and I think it will be an it's already long enough to be a decent you know, nice scarf, but yeah, I don't know how much left, and it would be easy enough to stop the knitting wherever I want at this point, I think, but I'm not quite sure what's left of the pattern. But it's a very different shape, and it's really fun. It's going to be really fun to wear, I think. So yeah, I wanted to show that again because yeah, I haven't talked about it in a while, and I finished more of the yarn for it, so hopefully I will get back to knitting that soon. So that's my spinning project. I still haven't really been sitting at my wheel too much. I did start plying and trying to fix the yarn that I'm currently plying on it, but yeah, I still haven't really concentrated on that. So let's see, I think that does bring me into talking about Vogue Knitting Live. So actually, well, not yet, because so Vogue Knitting Live was last weekend, and the Wednesday before Vogue Knitting Live, Brooklyn Tweed released their winter 2016 collection. It seems like they release a new collection. I mean, I think it is. It's like every 2 or 3 months they have a new collection, and I just can't keep up. So many patterns that I want to make, but yeah, keep them coming. I'm not complaining. So they released this new collection, and with this collection they introduced a new yarn. They partnered with this this other farm in Maine, I believe. No, it's still in Wyoming, but it's a ramble sheep farm, and so. And then there was a mill in this town, I think, where the sheep were raised, and so so they did this limited edition small batch yarn, which of course, you know, as soon as I hear that Brooklyn Tweed is doing a limited edition yarn, I'm just like, all right, there goes my money before I even see what the yarn is. So yeah, I was really looking forward to seeing it. I think I had a feeling that it was lace weight from just seeing rumors online about this new yarn that they were putting out. So I'm not the biggest. It's not that I'm not a fan of lace weight, but I just don't use it very often. I haven't bought it much. Not because I don't think I would like it, but I just yeah, I haven't really. Thought about making you know, a big lacy project, and there's all these pie shawls that I think are really beautiful, but it's just never been something that I've really been drawn to make. So this being lace weight, and then there was a pattern that came out with the winter 2016 collection called the Luca shawl, designed by Jared Flood, and yeah, I don't know what it was, but this new yarn and the Luca shawl just got to me, and I had to have it. So yes, this is Brooklyn Tweed's Plains, and it is 440 yards, 50 grams of lace weight rambouillet. So it was grown and spun in Wyoming and organically dyed in Maine. And it says it was milled in the same community where it is grown, an innovative, eco-friendly yarn from the heart of the American ranch country. And this is the Scarab colorway. So it's this kind of green gold color, and it looked really bright on the website, and which I was totally prepared for, but it is a little more muted than it shows, I think, on their website, and a little greener. So I'm not sure. I think it's showing up a little bit brighter and saturated on screen. It is a little bit more toned down in person, and it's really, really gorgeous. I love this color. I'm really into the green gold colors lately, so I'm really, really happy with the color of this. And I got 3 skeins for the Luca shawl, which I don't think I printed this in black and white, but yeah, you're not going to really be able to see the pattern, but it's gorgeous, and it's a circular pie shawl with really, really gorgeous patterns all over it. So I am intimidated by this project, but very excited to start it. I think it's going to be really beautiful in this color. And I also, I had to get a skein of the Morandi color, just because I thought it was really beautiful. Morandi, which is based on an artist who did really beautiful still lifes, and this was kind of part of his color palette. And yeah, the squish factor on this is really, really nice. So yeah, I thought maybe that I would do, so there's an applied border on the edge of the shawl. I thought maybe that I would do the applied border with this color on the just for the edge, but I'm not sure about that. I think I'll just save this for something else because I think it would be really nice in just the solid color. So although I think they would be a nice pairing together. So this is, yeah, a kind of a lavender gray. It's really, really beautiful. So yeah, that was the Wednesday before Vogue Knitting Live, and so I felt like I was quite in trouble because yeah, I was attending the marketplace at Vogue Knitting Live on Saturday last weekend. So I didn't take any workshops or anything. I really just wanted to go to meet up with all the other podcasters that were going to be there, and yeah, just see what it was like, because I've never been to Vogue Knitting Live, and yeah, just get down to the city for a fun day with all my knitting friends. And so I knew I had kind of looked at the vendor list, but I wasn't really particularly going after any one thing. I didn't want to really buy too much because I just trying to cut back on the wool piggery. But yeah, so I knew that Jill Draper Make Stuff was going to have a booth, so I was really looking forward to seeing the Jill Draper booth, because I haven't ever seen her yarns. I hadn't realized that she had an open studio the same weekend as Rhinebeck, so I didn't make it to that. But she is very close to me here in New York. She's in Kingston, which is only about an hour from me. So yeah, I really need to keep track of when she has her open studio visits, because I'd really like to get over there for that. So yeah, I got down to the city. I took the train from here at about 10:40, and so I got into Grand Central Station. It takes about 2 hours, so I got there around 1, I guess, or quarter to 1. And I grabbed a quick lunch at the station, and a lot of the other podcasters that I was meeting up with had already been at the hotel, which was at the Marriott Marquis in Times Square. So I grabbed a quick lunch, and I was keeping in touch with Kristen of Yarngasm, because yeah, she was going over a little bit later too. So she was pretty much the same distance away that I was, so I got there a little ahead of her, and she met up with me, and we headed up to the marketplace. And yeah, I was pleasantly surprised by the that by just how much there was, and I was a little overwhelmed, knowing that I didn't want to see anything pretty. I didn't want to spend money, so I was a little overwhelmed, but still really excited to see all these beautiful fibers and these really nice vendors. And so we were browsing around, and then we did make it to the Jill Draper Make Stuff booth. And she had, Jill Draper wasn't there herself at the time. I think she was there at some point during the weekend, but I didn't get to meet her. But in the center of the booth was this shelf of all the Empire skeins. So Empire is this Aran weight wool that Jill Draper makes. It's a huge skein of 1,280 yards of ramble, and so Jill dyes these up as a huge single skein, and it's enough for a sweater. So I had to have this one. It's my yarn baby. And I keep picking it up and hugging it, and every time I look at it, I love it even more. I picked this one up. There were really beautiful ones. There was a really nice bright yellow one that I was a little tempted by, and I found out later that Jenny of the Tiny Paper Foxes podcast was also kind of interested in that one, but it was quite bright. I think it was a little too yellow for me. But yes, so I was looking at all of them, and she had many of the multicolored ones, which were really gorgeous, but I really wanted more of a neutral color for a full sweater. So I picked this one up, and I was like, I don't even know how to describe this color. It's kind of a peachy, almost like nude skin tone color, but then it's got this overwash of kind of an olive green, and it's definitely very tonal. And then yeah, just like as I like kind of smush it around, there's even more kind of different versions of these colors. And so yeah, I had this in my hand walking around the booth, pretty much knowing that I was doomed, like I was going to have it. And of course I have Kristen in my ear like, just do it, get it, you're not leaving this booth without it. So yeah, Kristen totally pushed me over, and yeah, I went up to the register, and it was mine, and I got my yarn baby. Yeah, it's such a beautiful object as is that I'm honestly kind of afraid to work with it because, yeah, it's kind of just nice to have around. Yeah, I'm just so excited about it. I Yeah, and it's kind of, I don't know how to describe this color, but it's gorgeous. And I think it's going to make a really nice sweater. So it's the Empire by Jill Draper, Make Stuff, and yes, Aran weight, proudly made from sheep to skein in New York State, and so it's 100% Rambouillet, which is interesting because the Brooklyn Tweed lace weight is also 100% Rambouillet. So it'll be interesting to see how that fiber works up in a lace weight versus an Aran weight. And so yeah, and I have picked out a pattern for this. I was thinking, okay, maybe I'll do a stone cutter with it, or I forget what other pattern I had kind of thought of, but then yeah, so I was looking up patterns on Ravelry that night, and I had totally forgotten about this pattern. This is the Birch Bay pullover by Julie Hoover, and I forget which collection this was. I think Brooklyn Tweed, I want to say winter 2015 maybe, or fall 2015. And I know it's black and white, but yeah, you can see that it has that nice leaf pattern on it. And it's kind of a poncho style sweater, so it does have a wide body, so it's, it's good for a kind of an oversized fit. And yeah, with the stone cutter, I would be a little worried that this wouldn't be quite enough because of all the huge cables, but this, yeah, the yardage requirement checks out. with how much I have here, and I think it's going to be really nice as this sweater. I think because this calls for, of course, the Shelter Brooklyn Tweed yarn, and that's a worsted weight, and this is an Aran weight, so I think my gauge will be a little different, but I think since it is more of a loosely fit, oversized casual shaped pullover, I think it'll be fine. Even if my gauge is a little off, I think I could maybe make the smallest size, and it will just be a little bit bigger, and it will still have that nice relaxed fit. So yes, I'm so tempted to. I mean, obviously, I have to ball this up, which is probably going to take quite a while. I definitely don't think my ball winder can handle it, so I'll probably be popping in a movie or watching a bunch of podcasts while I wind this up. And I'm really tempted to, so I can swatch for the sweater, but at the same time, I might wait for a little bit and just enjoy it as it is. I put a silly picture on Instagram of me with this yarn while we were at the podcaster meetup, cradling it in my arms. But yes, so this was my first purchase at Vogue Knitting Live, and I mean, this pretty much, kind of took up the budget that I even had in mind if I was going to buy anything. But yeah, it was perfect. I had to have it, and I was so excited because that was like really the only thing, my only goal in shopping at the marketplace was to see the Jill Draper stuff and possibly get an Empire. So that all worked out very well. So then, yeah, me and Kristen were browsing around, and then I bought that, and then we found everybody else. We found Devin and Jenny of Tiny Paper Foxes, and Gabby of Once Upon a Corgi, who I haven't met yet, and so that was really awesome. I was really looking forward to seeing her, and Tanya of the Knitting Spring, who I love and was so happy to see again, and oh, am I forgetting anybody? Yeah, so, and then of course Mina of the Knitting Expat. So she was in town again, which is so awesome. I wish you could just come over to New York every month. And so yeah, we kind of like split off in different groups and then kind of gathered all together, and we were kind of browsing around. And so I think, yeah, at some point during all that, I got to the Oink Pigments booth. Cute little pig logo. Very clever, Oink Pigments. I really like that name. So I had actually seen a post from them on Instagram earlier in the day because they were like stuck in Times Square with all their boxes of yarn because they had the cart that they were using broke while they were carting everything over from the FedEx store to the venue because they shipped everything from California where they are based. So there was this picture of the dyer, stuck in Times Square with huge boxes of yarn, kind of trying to figure out what to do. So I was really excited that I got to see their booth, and they had really beautiful stuff, really, really fun colorway names, and gorgeous color combinations. And yeah, I just fell for this skein. This is they're 90% superwash merino, 10% nylon, 420 yards, so fingering weight. And it says sheep to shelf, 100% USA grown, spun, and dyed, which I thought was really nice. And this is the Yarn Fairy colorway. Well, it says Yarn Fairy. And so she told me that these are the skeins that were kind of just dye experiments. So if you look on their website, they have a whole page of the Yarn Fairy yarns, which are, yeah, just all different colors, kind of just one-offs, one-of-a-kinds. So I thought that was really nice. I really like that name of Yarn Fairy for the one-of-a-kind skeins. I thought that was really clever. So yeah, beautiful blues and tans and browns. And not really sure what I'll do with this yet, either either socks or something more more involved, but it's really feels really nice, and I think it's really, really pretty. And then yeah, we went to the me and Kristen and Mina went to the Stephen B booth, and they had a bunch of hedgehog fibers, which I have been wanting to try. And I need some tea. So I've been wanting to try hedgehog fibers, and I've really been after their budgie colorway since the dude, my parakeet, the English and the Australian name for a parakeet is budgerigger, which is shortened to budgie. So they have hedgehog fibers has the budgie colorway, which is blues and greens and like purples and black speckles for the budgie. And so yeah, I've really been wanting it since that is, you know, sentimental to me. So Stephen B had some, but for whatever reason, I just wasn't like, yeah, I need it. I need to get it because it's budgie. I was looking at the skeins, and you know, hedgehog fibers, since it's, you know, they do have their colorways, but they can really vary. I mean, I've seen budgie look very different depending on what base it is, and some of them have more blue, or some of them have more speckles. So I wasn't really that drawn to the skeins that they had, and yeah, I guess I was just trying to be good and behave myself, and so I just thought, you know, I didn't need it at that time. And so yeah, we kept walking around, and then there was another booth that had hedgehog fibers, and I think they did have budgie as well. And they also had the teacup colorway, which I've also wanted. And they had the typewriter, they have the typewriter colorway as well, which I totally forgot about. And I saw that Eric of Sticks Plus Twine bought some, and I totally forgot that they do have that colorway. I didn't even look for it at Vogue Knitting Live. But anyway, so this is teacup, and again, you know, I felt like I didn't need to buy hedgehog fibers just because it was there, because I thought, you know, I'll find it somewhere else when I'm feeling more enabled. But of course, you know, everybody else was with me, so I was feeling very enabled, and I really like this skein because of how much speckle is in it. I've seen skeins of teacup that are much more pale and yeah, just more subtle, but this one I really liked how much color was in it. So it's got a lot of nice speckly sections. So so yeah, I bought this one. This is the twist sock, so it's their 80% blue face Leicester, 10% nylon. That must be a typo. It must be 20% nylon maybe, because it says 80% and then 10%. So I don't know what the other 10% might be. So yeah, I'm really excited to work with this and get my taste of hedgehog fibers. Again, I don't know if it'll be socks or if I'll put it into a shawl. But yeah, thought it was a really beautiful skein. And yeah, so that was it. That was my shopping. What was really nice is that I did have, you know, the other girls with me, so I got to enable them, and there were definitely things that, you know, I definitely egged Kristen on a lot because it is her birthday month, and so I kept putting things in her hand, like, you know, this is really pretty, you should get it, or I will, you know. So, and Kristen feels bad because she got the loop bump that I really liked, but shut up, girl. Like, I have so many loop bumps, and yeah, that one was perfect for you, so I really wanted you to get it. And that was like the whole point, is like, I didn't want to buy too much, you know, anymore, and so like it was really nice that I could see things that were really nice and see other people get them. So so yeah, it was just really, really nice to shop around with everybody, and it's so cool that we all have like our different color tastes. And so yeah, it's really nice to be able to see a yarn and be able to take it off the rack and hand it to somebody and be like, look, this is so your colors, and they're like, ooh, yeah, that totally is. So yeah, that was really nice. And okay, so Mina at one point, yeah, she was working on her socks, of course, because she's in nearing the end of her sockathon for the month, and she has made, I haven't checked her Instagram today, but I think she's basically knit a pair of socks a day, so she's up to at least 23 pairs. And yeah, so she was kind of knitting while we were walking around the marketplace because she had finished her shopping, and she had her cat print bag with some socks in it, and I said, "Oh, like I haven't seen that bag in person. It's one of my favorites on the podcast." And she said, "Oh, well, I have to run up to my room to get you something." So she comes back down, and she had this bag as a gift to me, which was just so sweet and so unexpected, and I'm so grateful. And I mean, seeing the bags on Mina's podcast is one thing, but having it in my hands, like, this is such a beautifully made bag. I mean, you've heard it from everybody else, and you're hearing it again. It's just so well made and so beautiful, and the line. And I didn't realize, like, she's shown this bag a lot on her podcast, but I didn't realize that it does have metallic in it. So yeah, you can kind of see it shining there. Like, this is gold metallic, these are, and then yeah, the cat paws. So I've never realized on her podcast that it was metallic, and it's so beautiful. And it's very Japanese, which I think is really cool. And I love the little peeking cats. So yeah, I love this. So this is from Mina Makes on Etsy, and the lining, it's got this olive green zipper and a metallic gold and olive lining. And so I was so happy to receive this. And there's some other goodies in here. I got one of these amazing rainbow cat cards, cat unicorn. And sorry, dropping things. I got some tea and goodies, which I haven't even broken into yet, but now I'm going to have to. I love this bag too. It's so nice, nicely packaged. And then some minis. So I do have some more to put in my blanket, and a really nice range of colors. So thank you, Mina. And then also in here I have, this is a zine by Devin of, so Jenny's husband from the Tiny Paper Foxes podcast. And I haven't had a chance to sit down and read this, but yeah, I've kind of looked through a little bit. It's photography and a story, so really looking forward to spending more time with this. Thank you, Devin. And I also had I got a pin from the wonderful ladies at Post Stitch, but I don't know what happened to it. I've misplaced it, but cute little pin that they gave me. And then, yeah, so not only this with all the goodies in it from Mina, but she gave me a bag to give away on my podcast. And this is it. So I had a choice between keeping this one or the cat one, but I have to keep this one. This one is absolutely beautiful as well. I really love this fabric, and it's got this really nice coordinating handle, yellow zipper, and then the inside matches the handle. So really gorgeous, and I'm really excited to give this away. So I think I'm just going to give this away, now. So I'm going to start a thread in my Ravelry group, and I'm going to have a prompt. I think the prompt is going to be something like, what is the nicest thing that another knitter has done for you? Something like that. So yeah, I'm just so grateful. I haven't done like a number of followers giveaway or anything like that. But I've been so overwhelmed by all the support from all my viewers, and just like being part of this community has been so amazing over the last several months. So yeah, I haven't done kind of a thank you giveaway yet, so here it is. I'm going to start a thread, and it'll be what is the nicest thing that another knitter has done for you. And yeah, so I guess for me, I will kind of talk about, so before I was a podcaster, before I really had a community of other knitters that I hung out with. This was I guess a few years ago, and I would go to yarn shops and knit with a group of people, and every once in a while and things like that. But I wasn't like really super tied in to any like sense of community with it. Knitting was just like something I did and really liked, and that was that. Um, and then I've always read the Yarn Harlot blog, and in 2012, during the like infamous Superstorm Sandy, um, my parents' house caught fire, and basically was completely ruined. We were able to salvage a lot of our stuff. Like I didn't really lose any clothing, and I was like able to salvage a lot of things, but we lost all of our furniture and a lot of things, like a lot of stuff that was part of our life. A lot of pictures that were hanging on the wall and stuff like that. So yeah, our whole house kind of like went down, and we had to rebuild it. And now my parents rebuilt a beautiful house on the same property, and everything's good and fine. And yeah, that was back in 2012, and now it's been like 4 years. So yeah, everything's better, but yeah, it was like really crazy and awful, and it took a while to get back to normal. And so yeah, I had kind of talked a little bit about it on Ravelry, and these other knitters that I didn't even know offered to send me yarn, and even like some, if I needed any needles or anything. So I had about I think around four just knitters that I didn't even know send me some really nice yarn. And I also like the people I worked at Michael's craft store at the time, and my manager gave me a whole big box of yarn, and it was just like, I mean, people were giving us clothing and giving us food, and like people came out of the woodwork to help us, and it was like so incredible. Um, and just things that you don't even think about, like shampoo and toothpaste. Like, when your whole house goes down, like you don't have any shampoo or toothpaste, so people were just like, giving us all kinds of supplies, and yeah, so, but then, for all of that, like all of those typical things, and then like to have people who understand that, yeah, because I did lose a lot of my stash. Most of my knitting books were ruined, and then a lot of my yarn was ruined. A lot of it was, and I do need to reorganize my stash and like store it better in like plastic containers, because, you know, if anything ever happened like that again, like, cause yeah, I mean, I had a lot of yarn just in baskets, and I did have some containers under my bed that were all like sealed, so they didn't get too messed up, but I did lose a good portion of my stash, and my needles kind of got messed up. So yeah, uh, so to have people who understand that that's like a really heartbreaking thing to lose your yarn stash was just really amazing. And like I wouldn't even have thought that anybody would be generous enough to just send me stuff. So yeah, that was the nicest thing that any other knitter had done for me. Then before I really became a podcaster, and now it's just like I'm overwhelmed by like all the generosity that this community has. But yeah, so that was a long tangent, but so yeah, I'm going to start that thread, and you can pop over to the Ravelry group to enter to answer that question. And I guess, I haven't even thought about setting a date. I think, let's see, it's the 24th, so I'll probably keep that thread open for let's say I will keep it open until um, February 6th. I don't know what day that is, but anyway, I don't know. I'll keep it open for maybe 2 weeks, and then draw for the prize. So, sorry, I am so disorganized. I am not a proper podcaster. And let's see. I know I'm forgetting something. Oh, I did receive also, when I ordered the Brooklyn tweed yarn, they sent me a free pattern. So this is the Permafrost pattern by Jared Flood again. So it's a huge circular shawl. And this was really nice. It was, a free gift included with the yarn that I bought. And it was also really nice because I had ordered the 3 skeins for the shawl, and I was like really trying to order and check out right away because I didn't know. They said it was a small batch, limited edition, and once the yarn is gone, it's gone. Like that, they're not going to make this again, at least not in the exact same form. So I wanted to make sure I bought it and checked out and got my hands on it. So I put the order through, and then I went back and realized that I did want to add the skein of the different color to the order. So I made another separate order, and then in the notes for that order I said, if you could please combine the shipments. And I was kind of hoping, like that I would be refunded for the second shipping costs. And yeah, they were really nice. They sent me an email the next day and said we were able to package it all together, and we refunded you the shipping costs. So yeah, their customer service I think is really on point. Anytime that I've had an issue, they've answered very, really quickly, and they're always, it's always a really pleasant interaction with their customer service people. So that was really nice. I was really happy that they were able to do that and to refund me. And so yeah, and then they sent me the free pattern. So yeah, that's a huge, that's beautiful. I don't know if I could handle that though. That would be a lot of work. But it is really, really beautiful. I'd love to have something like that. Yeah, I totally feel like I'm forgetting something as always, but oh yeah, I wanted to talk about some podcasts that I have been into lately. So yeah, so also at Vogue Knitting Live, and I haven't talked about the podcaster meetup from Vogue Knitting Live. Okay. So Denise, who has met up with all of us at Gauge Intention before, she lives in the city. So Denise also met up with us at Vogue Knitting Live, and we all knit together. We went to get something to eat for dinner all together, and so Denise was there, and she has started her own podcast called the Yarn Geek Podcast, which is so awesome, and I've been waiting for this to happen. So yeah, her first episode is really, really great. She has some really cool projects, and she's just a natural. Really great first episode. So hi Denise, thank you for joining us as a podcaster, and I really look forward to seeing more from you. And yeah, so then while we had all been at the cafe, close to the hotel to eat dinner, and Eric from the Sticks Plus Twine podcast had been in classes, so he came over there to meet up with us, and it was really great meeting him. Feels like I've known him, like just really, really sweet guy, and really like just such positive energy from him. So really great to meet him in person. And yeah, so then we finished up our meal and went over to the Latitudes bar to the podcaster meetup. So Jenny of Tiny Paper Foxes and Eric of Sticks and Twine had organized this post Vogue Knitting Live podcaster meetup, and then Alex of the Mapping Charts podcast had reserved some tables for us. So we got there, and yeah, I wasn't sure what to expect with the meetup. I wasn't sure if we were gonna be at a bar and kind of not be able to all sit together. So the fact that like we got there and there were these tables in our own little nook where we could, put all our purchases and get our knitting out, and it was really, really nice to just hang out with everybody. And yeah, like everybody else has said, it was loud because there was football on, and it was yeah, just a loud atmosphere. But um, yeah, I got to talk to mostly everybody. I feel like, me and Jenny didn't even really get to talk, and I didn't really get to talk to Eric too much, but yeah, just kind of watched Mina just knit away and finish a pair of socks while we were at the bar, so that was fun. And yeah, I got my picture with my yarn baby, and talked to Gabby and Tanya and Alex and some other viewers, and it was just a really nice event. Michael from he's a designer. I met him at Gauge Intention. He was there with his wife, and yeah, I know I'm forgetting people. I'm sorry, but it was really, really nice and just so refreshing to be with my people. So yeah, we hung out for several hours, and then parted ways, and it was yeah, just a really, really, really great Saturday. Um, and I'm sorry about the dogs barking. That's my landlord's dogs in the other part of the house. So yeah, they're barking at something. I don't know what. So yeah, I hope that covers it for the most part. Yep, over an hour. So yeah, it's been a while, I think, since I've gone over an hour. But yeah, I think I will leave it at that. I am really looking forward to all of the new projects that I will be starting soon with this shawl and this sweater, and yeah, I'm really glad that I've been working on spinning again. And I don't know what my next event is as far as knitting goes, but yeah, I hope to get down to Gauge Intention again at some point soon in Brooklyn. And yeah, it's just been a nice week for knitting, or month for knitting, and yarn hoarding. So I hope you are, again, keeping safe and warm wherever you are, and I hope you have plenty of inspiring projects to work on. And thank you so much for stopping in to hang out with me for a little bit. And yeah, enjoy your knitting. See you later.